Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to joining us for conversations about joyful communication with autistic communicators. I'm Sherry,
And I'm
and
Alicia.
and we're excited to have you join us today as we jump into this new realm of live conversations.
That's right. We're going to give it a whirl. And today we're going to be talking about some of the moms that we've been coaching throughout our time as coaches for parents of autistic communicators. And we're excited to talk about how amazing they are.
Yes, we have worked in our careers over the years with so many incredible moms in all of our different settings. Moms are just amazing. And don't worry, dads, we do plan another podcast about you because we have worked with some incredible dads and grandpas too. But overall, we just wanted to talk today about moms because there is just something so amazing, at least that we've been able to witness, right, Alicia, as far as what moms' love and dedication can do. The magic that happens from that. It's just, we've been super lucky to be able to witness so much of it.
Yeah, we've just had these moms who really knew somewhere deep down that they would, right, they would make the difference for their child. A lot of the moms that have come to us, right, Sherry, they've been kind of discouraged with progress or just not really feeling like they have the control to really help their kids progress. And so they've just jumped in so many beautiful ways to create progress with some support that we've given them over time with our coaching. But yeah, it's just beautiful to see. They really believe that they can make the difference, and they do.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's something that we're so lucky to have, been a part of and still be a part of is it is those moms that know in their gut that they can make a difference, but it's more than that. It's like what they're willing to do to make that difference is just so incredible. So who do we want to talk about first?
Well, I think we should maybe want to give a little background.
Sure. Yes, good
So,
idea.
several years ago, Sherry and I jumped into coaching, and honestly, we just kind of literally jumped in. We had sort of some ideas about what we thought we could help parents with, but really everything that we've learned has come from our interactions with our families, with our parents, with these beautiful
Totally.
moms. And so anyway, so we had a coaching program and we had four beautiful moms sign up with us. And we just started, and part of our program required these moms to send videos of themselves in interactions with their little ones. And that alone, I think, just speaks volume. I tell my husband about that all the time. He's like, I don't know how I would never do that. He said, I would never record myself and then have somebody coach me. So we know that already just from a parent being willing to do that, how vulnerable it's a vulnerable spot. And it also tells us, I think, just how much they really wanted to learn and how important they really feel it is to learn new skills to help their child. That love just propels them forward.
Yes. Propels is such a good word. I think that's so true that it's so fascinating to see how every one of them does it differently. They come to the approach differently. And, we are there for those it resonates for as far as moving away from more compliance based strategies to really create that joy within an interaction. And we work at the very, very most basic, purest level of a back and forth interaction to create that. And so, when these moms come and are willing to work there, Alicia and I, watching those videos, we laugh, we cry, cheer, like all of it with them. So it's just been such an incredible gift. And I think really we're inspired every day by working with them, and they raise the bar every day. So that's what happened when we first started coaching. We knew we already had a relationship based approach. We knew that connection and engagement and joy was so critical, and it was missing so much for our artistic communicators. But our moms just taught us from there. And I think, sorry, first group, you were so amazing, so special to us. But what our last group got compared to the first group, because we just learned so much from the actual work we did. They taught us so much.
Yeah, but honestly, we couldn't have done that without them because we just jumped in and learned so much. We had to figure out, I remember so much like sitting there on the videos and like we would explain something and then we could tell that it didn't really hit. And so then we would have to figure out like another way to explain it or give a different example. And that was, just like really part of the process, just us figuring out how can we explain what we mean? How can we get that across? And that was definitely, it took some time, some,
It
some
did.
trial and error for sure.
Yeah, we definitely were learning so much. That's just one great example of, how you grow. And I think that's everything. We've learned so much in every experience we've had with every child, with every parent. We've taken something from that. And so, yeah, that first group took a chance on us. And I can remember cheering that after that session, we were just like, so elated. It was the most amazing group of moms, and that group holds just such a special place in our heart because it was the first for us. We had done so much separately, but we hadn't done it together, and that was just really exciting.
Yeah, they were
So,
pretty devoted. I mean, they stayed on late with us. Each parent was supposed to have an allotted amount of time. Remember that? And we would always go over. So the poor mom at the fourth slot
yeah,
be like
yeah,
staying on so late. But it all worked out because I think everybody connected in such a good way, and
yeah,
learned so much from each other. And I think that was another kind of really cool thing that we learned is when we had that group coaching piece that the moms really got to learn from each other
yeah,
in that moment, and the examples that we gave. But yeah, it was it was amazing.
yeah. It's still awesome to this day. And um all right, let's jump in and talk about some of our moms that stick out for us. Every single one of them, when we picture their faces, and the dads, really, every single one of them approached it so differently. So a little background information for those of you listening or watching is that for our approach, part of it is what we call igniting the social driver. That means helping your child understand it feels good to interact, it feels good to communicate, and that their own communication, exactly as they're giving it, gives them what we always say, value. They help them understand there's value in that, there's purpose in that, it brings them power, and it brings them joy. So that's the overall in a quick 2-second piece. But one of the pieces of igniting the social driver is really stepping out of your comfort zone and really using, as what our you could say our families call it, the either the cartoon character of themselves, or one of our families great description, her mom called it going to clown school. So that gives you an idea of what we expect of our families or what we hope they'll try. And for every family, it's different, and I could relate to some of those families that just really, so some of those moms who really had a hard time getting into their body and like letting it out, and then sending us videos of them being so vulnerable. I mean, I think a lot of people listening and watching can imagine how that would be. And so a few of them, right? A few of them, it was
Yeah.
very hard for them. And so we kind of over time, that's one of the things we learn, like how soon do we give them the talk, as we call it, of like how important this piece is, and helping them feel comfortable practicing in front of a mirror. We had all different things to try. And one of our moms, she was a dedicated, amazing mom, still is, beyond belief, inspires us. And she was sending us a bunch of videos, but very hesitant. We knew she could do more, and we knew she had more. And um, so you take the story from there.
Well, really, we just had to say, we know what you want, and how you're going to get that is you've just got to step out of your comfort zone. And not in this way, but I think we communicated to her like that needs to happen or we're not going to see more growth, and that was really hard. But this mom is very, I don't know if type A is the right word, but she is going to do what it takes. And she really did. She just shifted. And by the very next set of videos that we got, she had changed. And getting back to that clown school idea, she had changed so much in her ability to step out of her own comfort zone. So part of our approach requires you to use really big movements and change your voice into silly ways to engage your child and ignite that social driver that Sherry was just talking about. And so you really are like the most exuberant form of yourself. And she, so much so that, so part of her routine was that she would, sing some songs to her son or do social games while he was sitting in the high chair for breakfast. And so she was doing her thing and she's dancing around the room and she's, just so exuberant. And her mom walks in and was like, okay, yeah, I guess she went to clown school. And that's where that came from because she saw her daughter just going crazy to get her son's attention. And over time, it was so successful. And she's been one of our most successful families, right, Sherry?
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. And that's where it was just so cool because, it is a hard step and it is a hard step for many, like that jumping out of your comfort zone. And she just dove in. It was like you could just feel she loved her child so much. She was like, I'm gonna do it. And she dove in. And that's what we see is sometimes it's like they just dive in like she did and they do whatever they have to do and it's night and day difference in videos after we've had that talk. And sometimes people still like wade in and do a little at a time. They decide they're just going to take one little piece at a time, one little tool, and that works great too. So we learn a lot, I think, about seeing all the different ways that they can approach it. As far as we had one mom decide, I'm going to send you a video a day, kept to very specific interactions, worked on very specific pieces. She was very successful. Whereas this mom we just talked about, she was like, I'm jumping in, I'm trying all the tools, I'm doing all the tools, and I'm doing them consistently during this routine. And then we had another family who she knew she was about to have a baby. So she had her whole family involved and was like, I'm going to put these next months into whatever I have to do. So it's just been incredible, don't you think? I mean, they're just
Yeah.
what is incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of like the difference between if you're wading into a cold pool
Yep,
versus doing the cannonball.
totally.
Just going right in.
Yeah. Yes, and yeah, and there were some that it was really, really hard and really, really difficult, no matter what they tried. And they focused on some of the other tools and other parts of our approach. And everyone had their own journey as far as how they took it, and they still how they use those tools today. But what we were able to witness was just um I think the depths of where they're willing to go, right? Of the stamina, the perseverance, the consistency, just really just such a testament to what a mother's love can do, I think is because it is no joke. It is a hard journey for these moms and they have so much at stake as far as what matters to them for their child. And it's just been so amazing to witness. I know I use amazing all the time. I've got to pick a better word at some point, but captures it. Just how they what they're willing to do that they wouldn't necessarily do in another situation, but they're like, I trust this and I'm going to do it. And so much fun came of it. So much joy came of it. So much growth came of it from every single one. And yeah, it's just been
Yeah.
so incredible. Love it. And we had another mom. You want to talk about when we had the first consultation with a mom and she challenged us.
Yeah. I don't even, so we, um, part of what we used to do and still what we are doing is we host some workshops so we can share with parents like what we do, what we're about, what is our approach like. And so one mom was considering coaching with us and she we always offered a call for them to talk to us and ask us questions and things like that. And she was like, well, what are you going to do for me that I don't know already? And she had this like Louisiana twang. I can't do it, Sherry. I don't know if you can do it, but she's a
She was
Louisiana accent. And she's like, so what are you going to do for me? And we're like, well, let's
just
talk about it.
She was like, "So you think you can do better?" And we laugh. She's so near and dear to our heart, and she knows we're talking about her if she's listening. We laugh still about that to this day. But her attitude captured what so many moms feel, right? When they come in, they've been burned. They've followed down so many roads. They've just felt like they've tried everything and still so discouraging. And I think that um, she captured it, even though we laugh because we know her was so well now. We know where she came from, and we were kind of taken aback in that moment. She was like, her attitude was basically like, "You think you can do better than what I just showed you in this video?" Because she was
Yeah.
using every
Yeah.
strategy, was
She's been
dedicated
taught.
everything she'd been taught.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but she's become one of our biggest cheerleaders and fans, and she's been very successful. And we just have such a soft for her from that moment because she challenged us.
Yeah, she did. And, at the end of the day, I think what I was going to say earlier too with our moms, when we do ask so much of them and we kind of give them that talk, we're also really there to support them. And I don't think that our moms have, like, for example, for this mom we're talking about, she was questioning us because pretty much what we know moms hear is all the negative things about their kids and what all the things that their children cannot do versus the things they can. And that's, I think, part of our approach is that we're definitely there to push them out of their comfort zone and make the progress in the ways that we know work, but also to support them along the way and just really highlight for them how amazing one tiny little look or
Yeah.
lean in is for them. And then they start to realize the impact. And I think it's like with anything you try, right, Sherry? Like once you get a little bit of a reward or a hit, like you're making progress, then you have that motivation to keep going. And so I think that's a big piece of you know, our mom's dedication is that we're also there to lift them up and really support them along the way because we know that not very many people are telling them all the things that they're doing that is so wonderful and amazing. And they're just hearing a lot of negative out there. So
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, we've even talked about it that we often see them when they first come on to talk with us. It's like you can see it in their body and feel it through the screen, like they're physically bracing themselves for what they're going to hear about their child. And then when they realize with what we talk about and we talk about what how their child is already communicating in ways that they instinctively knew, but everyone's told them it's
yeah.
dismiss it. We do, right? We've talked about that. We physically see their shoulders drop and they relax, and then each week we see more of that. And the journey is an up and down one, and it's one that takes a lot out of them. But I think I love the fact that exactly what you're saying. They feel that switch in the perspective because really that's I think where you and I come in is our perspective is very different, and the lens we teach them to look through at their child's communication, at what can be possible, at where it matters. I think they realize like there's a lot more there than they had realized because they've just been measuring everything by the world's measuring stick. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's so true. And like you also said, they know their child really well and they know there's so much potential there. So, they had kind of this, I don't know what you would call it, but just this inner drive to uncover that.
yeah,
So, and took a chance with us
yeah,
and we were able to really uncover a lot of that communication that like you said that's already there. So, yeah, it's just
yeah,
amazing. So, we love our
yeah.
moms and we have
We
so many more to talk about in the future.
Yes, yes, there will be lots more to talk about. But for today, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to connecting with you again. Have a great day.